Доброї ночі. Доброї ночі. Блін, ну і синхронізація з Хмарою, капець. О, по запуску. Так, це розумію, треба з себе це, що на мені одіто, зняти. Додатково. Тут же додатково його можна не виконувати? О, звук пропав, серйозно. Секундочку. О, я вибачаюсь. То я щоб не... Інколи вимикаю. Буває посторонні шуми. Вже має бути. Ні, це не в тебе. Це я проглядів. Я думаю, що все-таки мені треба складати всі. А можна не складати? Але як я робу вдягну? Він скаже, що не можна. До складу. Туди в скрині. Не зовсім довіряю скрині, вже вибачай. Тій скрині. Мене ж не мало б скидати. А хоча з іншого боку в стіну їхати теж не варіант.
God Almighty. God be with you.
Хто вкрав мій вишений коней одяг. Воно в болоті обмазався. Угу.
Greetings, good night.
Is there somewhere
All right. For how long?
just the one night?
Sure.
Here you go.
You'll like it here. Take care.
Монастир це класні квести, але складність, на жаль, тоді. На жаль, тоді там побічні всі не виконав. Монастирі я не буду чекати. Я ще буду побічні монастирі виконувати. Я буду тільки як прохід до основного квесту. Так, побічні тут класні побічні деякі, але деякі ні. Зброю можна теж скласти, вони, напевно, не йдуть мені її взяти. Ось ДЛС-ки тут круті. ДЛС-ки тут супер. А ось ті самі. А, я продав навіть кинжал, ну капець.
Yeah. Yeah.
Strange feeling being without all of that. I didn't realise how much I'd grown used to it.
Everything's prepared. It's time for you to take your vows.
Do I really have to wear this?
You'd better get used to it. You'll be wearing it for the rest of your life.
Ось із цих.
Brothers in Christ, we have gathered here today to welcome a new novice into our midst. Dear brother, forget your former life and embrace your new vocation in the community of the monks of St. Benedict. Opus Dei, obedientia, obprobria, the service of God, obedience, and endurance of all discomfort. These are the cornerstones and succor of our order, which on this day shall become your own. Suscipe me, Domine, secundum eloquium tuum et vivam, et non confundas me ab expectatione mea.
Suscipe me, Domine, secundum
Не знаю.
eloquium tuum vivam,
Слів-то не знає.
et
Прям як
non confundas me ab expectatione me.
краще б не спів.
Accept your new name, Brother Gregor, and wear it with honor. Welcome, brother.
Welcome, brother. I am Antonius, a novice like you. I've been instructed to guide you around the monastery and tell you what you can expect and what your duties will be.
Thanks for helping me out during the ceremony. I had no idea what I was supposed to do.
You don't know Latin, do you? Don't worry. Work in the scriptorium will teach you fast enough. Why exactly are you here? Was it your choice? Or did someone force you to come?
Being here in the monastery is my dream come true. Being a monk is
Збрехав.
so exciting.
Well, no one's ever said that before. I'm curious if you'll still be singing the same tune in a month's time.
Would you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a novice and I'm here because I'd make a poor merchant. I like books and I want an education. Although I must say, so far the monastic life's been quite unexpected.
Let's go then.
Good.
Що дізнаємося,
But
що
before we
тут?
do, here's a letter directly from the prior telling you all your regular duties from tomorrow onwards. Make sure to read it this evening so you know how things work. Right, we can go now. Follow me closely. I'll explain everything as we go. Remember one word, discipline. It's your job to work and pray. You serve the Lord now, not your own bodily needs. Peace be. This is the way to the dormitory, where we all sleep. You'll find a free bed there, which is now yours. Do you know the first thing the monastery taught me? To appreciate sleep. We rise before dawn every day. Takes a bit of getting used to. This is the garden, a place for silent contemplation and meditation. Centuries ago, this monastery was founded by the most esteemed of brothers, Saint Procopius. His earthly remains can be found in a cave under the monastery, and his spirit wanders the corridors at night, punishing any misbehaving novices. So beware. Here are the frattery and scriptorium, together with the library. These are the places where we work. Ora et labora. Pray and work. As a novice, you must always listen to your superior brethren, and above us monks are the prior and the circators, who punish every infraction. You'll know them by the canes they carry. Do what they say. This is the refectory, where we come together to eat. During meals, you must be silent. Only one brother reads aloud from the Rule of Saint Benedict.
The rule is the only law we recognize, with the exception of those from God himself. If you break any of its precepts, it's swift punishment. But I've already told you about the circuitous. The library, the pride of our monastery, a trove of learning. We don't just read books here, we also copy them. You too will learn how.
And that's all. Today you are still free from duty, but tomorrow you begin work like the others. If you need anything, ask any of the brothers. We'll be glad to help you. And I recommend you get to know the other novices. You already know me. Then there is Siskin, Yodok, and Lucas.
Thanks for showing me around. There's a lot to learn here.
Will you tell me something about yourself?
There's not much to tell. I lived in Vlashim, and after my father died, I found out I wasn't much of a merchant. So I left the shop to my brother and decided to become a monk. It's peaceful here. There's food and lots of time to read.
So you chose to come here?
It may seem strange, but I'm one of the few novices that did. I might be the only one. The truth is, the idea of spending my life in a monastery was more appealing than being cooped up in a greasy old shop.
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery. Who's in charge of things around here?
Truthfully, everyone except us. But officially, Abbot Peter. And soon enough, someone else. As if it mattered. Our life will still be work and prayer.
I see. Are there any rifts between the brothers?
Yes. From the moment talk began about electing a new abbot, it's been like a hornet's nest here. Strange you haven't noticed.
Tell me something about electing the abbot.
Abbot Peter is old. When he dies, they'll have to select a new abbot from amongst the brethren. The candidates are John and Nevlas. And if you ask me for my opinion, Nevlas is definitely the right man. Unfortunately, no one cares about my opinion because novices get no say.
Tell me something about life here.
Work, prayer, as if you didn't know. We serve God, and that's the central truth of our lives.
What are the roles of the various monks here?
Someone takes care of the library, someone else the garden. The abbot supervises everyone, and in his absence, the prior. But it's the circators you should worry about. They're the brothers who'll make sure we observe the rule. They can be quite strict, so if you want to avoid getting punished, always act righteously and do your duties honestly.
Поки не будемо розповідати.
It occurred to me you might be the man to ask. I'm looking for some lockpicks. Do you know anyone in the monastery who could help me?
Lockpicks? You surprise me, brother. And you, a nobleman's son. But you could ask Brother Salarius. They say he used to be a thief.
А, майже ніч. Так не треба.
Books must be in that cabinet.
Заборонені книги. Тут. Не знаю, навіщо мені заборонені книги. Мені треба молодих знайти. Так, це ми вже бачили. А де їх шукати? О. Ти з ким? Ти виглядаєш підозріливо.
My name's Gregor, a novice.
You can call me Siskin. Now, are you here of your own free will, or is this a punishment? Although, it's not important. Welcome to Purgatory.
Did you say purgatory?
О, це він.
You'll see soon enough.
А може і ні.
Soon enough.
Але вже підозріливо.
Will you tell me something about yourself?
Look, nothing against you, but I prefer not to talk about my
Mm.
past.
Are you hiding something? Why are you so reluctant to tell me anything about yourself?
I'm hiding a lousy past that I'd rather forget. I hate to think of all I lost when they stuck me in here. And also because I really hate the question, aren't you the son of the famed Sir Smil Flashka
На
Pardubitz?
чужий коровай
I was
рота не
rich, I
роздягни.
може
had
ні.
everything. But then my father began to feel his time approaching,
Може і
so he
не він.
decided to send a son to the monastery. And, being the youngest, a lot fell on me. I've no head for managing the estate, and they said I'd squander it. Can you imagine? Me, in a monastery. So I took what coin I could from home
Приталки.
with me, so I didn't lose out completely.
But you didn't have to come here if you didn't want to.
No, not if I didn't mind being left to beg alms by the city gate. I had one choice, the monastery or nothing. If it had come to that after my father's death, so be it. But to get rid of me while he's still alive?
They must have realized you robbed them.
I donated some of the silver to the monastery when I came in, just to piss them off. I can just see my brothers, my siblings, arguing with the abbot to give it back.
And you stashed away the remainder.
Indeed so.
What's your plan with this treasure?
To get out of here as soon as I can. I'll wait another year or two until my hot-headed brothers cool off a bit, and then I'll take the silver and run off somewhere, far, far away from here.
That's all I wanted to know.
Please, keep it to yourself, especially the part about the coin.
How is it that you don't get any penance for missing morning prayers?
I've paid off the circators to turn a blind eye. And the other monks don't notice as long as you show your face there from time to time. No one's too awake at that time of the morning.
І монастир я бачу, як.
I'd be interested to hear what you think about the other novices. That's all. Thanks. Who would you elect abbot if you could?
Most likely Nevlas. He's a fine fellow and he seems honest. But, truth be told, it doesn't matter much to me. The monastery will still be a monastery no matter who's in charge. If you really want to talk more about it, ask Antonius. He seems to have taken an interest.
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery. Who's in charge of things around here?
Truthfully, everyone except us. But officially, Abbot Peter.
Peace be with you, brother.
I see.
Це вже було, ну.
Well, that's all. Thank you for your time, brother.
Так, одного я. Оу, ну тут всі зібрались. Лукаш і Йодок.
I'm Gregor, a novice.
Думаєш, вчора
I saw you
стрімив?
at the
Та ні,
ceremony.
недовго.
I know. It was hard not to notice you.
And you are?
He can't sleep and plays
Lucas, also a novice.
І сьогодні
Don't
теж буде
get
коротше,
upset,
напевно.
but I don't want to talk to you.
Бо ображен
I'm
війти.
happiest alone.
Will you tell me something about yourself?
There's nothing I can tell you.
I mean, where you're from, what sort of life you had before, that sort of thing.
I'm a novice, and my monastic name
Лукаш.
is Lucas.
Я ж
Nothing
підозрілий.
else matters.
Ну всі підозріли, блін.
Come on. Is there really nothing at all you can tell me?
I could, but I don't want to. I'm sorry. I want to stay focused on work and prayer, not on who I once was. I never will be again. What has been isn't important for us. We cast the past aside when we walked through the monastery gates and took our oath. Never forget that.
If you could, who would you vote for to be the abbot?
But I can't vote, so what's the point of worry? Ask Antonius. He often talks about it, and I'm sure he has an opinion.
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery.
Today's food. But what do they do?
Greetings, brother. I'm Gregor, and I'm new here.
Greetings to you, brother. I'm Yodok, the oldest of the novices. I hope you'll like it here in the monastery and that you won't get into trouble.
Trouble?
You're young, perhaps intemperate. You might easily stray from the rules of the order. I suggest you get to know the older monks. You never know when it might come in handy.
Can you tell me something about yourself?
I would if there was anything noteworthy to say. I'm just the ordinary son of a landowner, now a monk. There's nothing in my past, present, or
Хоча може
future
бути
that
хтось і не
anyone
з
could
цих
find
монахів, може
interesting.
хтось із тих, що вже
Why did
є.
you join the monastery?
Because it was
Але ж
better
здається
than
ж
living in
новачків.
poverty. As the youngest son, I'm not entitled to inherit my father's estate, but he was kind enough to sell off some cattle and send me here. And you know what? I'm glad to be here. It's better than mucking out manure.
Listen, there's something I ought to tell you. There's a dangerous criminal hiding in the monastery, and I came here to look for him.
Ha! I knew it! He's a villain. Who are you, though? Oh, it's better not to ask, isn't it? It's always safer not to ask.
Never mind that. Who's a villain?
That's Siskin. I always thought he was an odd one, the way he carries on. But now it makes perfect sense. He's a criminal fleeing justice.
What are you
Чи
talking
є
about? You clearly know something I don't.
I'm telling you, keep your eye on him. He's no monk. That's what my gut tells me. And my gut's never wrong. What are you going to do to that fellow once you find him?
Це може бути не з новачків?
I don't know yet.
You should talk to the Circators or the prior about it. Not act on your own.
They're shirking their responsibilities, leaving us, their superiors, to chase around after them, finishing what they don't.
Did you have to finish someone's weed?
I'm interested in the other novices.
Yet again. I've had enough of it.
What can you tell me about Siskin?
Oh,
Ні, це
he's
новачки.
always got a smile on the new friend. But I reckon he don't belong in the monastery. He spends more time dreaming of the world outside than tending to his duties. I'm surprised he hasn't been thrown out already. If it was up to me, he'd be out on his ear right away.
Sounds like you don't have much time for him.
I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. Believe me, Gregor, he's hiding something from us. In fact, now I come to think of it, I haven't seen him at morning prayers for a while.
Do you know anything about Antonius?
Only that he came to the monastery voluntarily, because he didn't want to work in his father's shop. Antonius is all right. You can rely on him. He won't betray your confidence. He's always happy to help, which is more than can be said for the other brothers.
Кожен може бути.
I'm interested in Lucas.
Nobody knows much about Lucas. He keeps himself to himself. If you ask me, he's got something to hide. I'd keep well clear of him if I was you.
Do you have any grounds for suspecting him of something?
Quite a lot. And also none at all. The circators who make the rounds despise him, and they'd never punish anyone without cause.
What can you tell me about Siskin?
Oh, he's always got a smile on the new friend. But I reckon he don't belong in the monastery. He spends more time dreaming of the world outside than tending to his duties. I'm surprised he hasn't been thrown out already. If it was up to me, he'd be out on his ear right away.
I'm telling you, someone's been creeping around in the corridor at night. What am I saying?
I'd like to know something about the other novices.
Like a bear.
I don't know much, but ask away.
He can't sleep and prays
What can you tell me about Siskin?
Not a lot. I don't know him. Actually, I don't know much about him at all, except that he's not a stickler for rules.
You really don't know anything about anyone? Well, thanks anyway.
Don't get upset. I'm sorry I can't tell you more. I just haven't felt like getting to know anyone yet.
I'd like to know something about the other novices.
I don't know much.
What can you tell me about...
Not a lot.
Do you know anything about Yodok?
I don't. He doesn't like me, and he's on very friendly terms with the circators. That's about it.
Tell me about Antonius.
I'd like to, but there's nothing to tell. I've never spoken to him. I've never asked about him.
Ярік не пам'ятає свого дитинства. Мабуть, він його не мав.
Вони всі потенційно можуть бути. Не бачу причини, щоб хтось із них не був...
Someone.
What is it, brother?
I'd be interested to hear what you think about the other novices. Tell me about Antonius.
Зіскін і
Well, if there
Чижик
was
це
a
він?
monk I'd recommend as a friend, with of course the exception of myself, it would be Antonius. He has a calm soul, he's easy to talk to, and you can always rely on him.
Тільки ж роки як жити живуть. Не знаю. Але ж Маїк це ж такий наш іконічний. Не думаю, що він жив і помирав. Хоча, хто його знає. Бо цікавитись глибиною лору. Ну це, звісно, відсилка з того, що тут немає в циклу народження смерті. Всі відразу стають. У нього нема батьків. Ну, настільки, скільки немає народження, стільки, оскільки в нього він просто сам по собі не відносно ні до кого не відноситься. А скільки жити живе? Я, чесно кажучи, не знаю, скільки в святі Тес живуть якісь раси. Якось не дуже цікавився. Здається, тільки ельфи живуть подовше трохи. А стосовно інших не знаю.
I'm interested in Yodok.
What could interest you about him? He's a no-good rat. He'll turn you in for the price of a turnip. I bet my life that if he wasn't here, he'd be a cumin scap, bowing and scraping for a few groschen.
That doesn't sound too flattering.
It wasn't meant to. No matter what you do here, watch out for him. He's got his eye on everyone, and he'll rat on you for even the slightest of infractions.
What can you tell me about Lucas?
It's a tricky situation with Lucas. No one really knows anything about him. I've tried so many times to talk to him, but he always backs away like a virgin on a wedding night.
That's all. Thanks.
Вони всі підозрюють, поки я не бачу.
Slow down, brother.
Ого. Що це таке було? Ви бачили, який баг? Мені півздоров'я зняло. Дверима вбило.
What do you desire, brother Gregor?
Чи скану місячного цукру? Напевно.
I'd be interested to hear what you think about the other
Тільки
novices.
перший раз такий баг бачу.
What can you tell me about Siskin?
That there's no man alive less suitable for the monastic life than him.
You don't know young Lord Capon.
I've heard things. Siskin must have been like him, fighting, drinking, fornicating, but then he ended up in here.
Why is he in the monastery?
No one knows. Maybe he's hiding from something, or maybe he's being punished.
Do you think he has a secret?
Don't we all? But unlike the others, he absolutely refuses to speak about his life before the monastery.
That's all I wanted to know about him. Thanks. What about Yodok?
Be on good terms with him. If you show even the slightest hint you don't like him, he'll make your life hell. He's a slimy little pedant who'll rat you out to the superiors. Once he finishes his novitiate, I imagine he'll want to climb his way up the ladder to at least Sir Cato. He's a man who enjoys ordering others around.
I'm interested in Lucas.
No one knows much about him. He doesn't talk to anyone. He works, eats, sleeps, then does it all again the next day. It's as if he wanted to get it all over with as soon as possible. By it, I mean his entire life.
That's all. Thanks. I need to make a confession.
I'm no priest, but tell me what you've done. It's probably nothing to worry about.
I'm here in the monastery looking for a thief. He had a hand in burning down the Neuhof stud.
You don't say. And who are you to take such an interest?
Someone whose job it is to investigate the case, find the perpetrators, and make sure they get the punishment they deserve.
Punishment? Do you intend to punish them here, in the monastery?
I don't know yet. I'm still just on their trail. Perhaps you could help me find him?
The missing thief? If I knew anything, I'd tell you, but I suppose it must be one of the novices. I've only recently heard about the Neuhof incident, and all the other brethren have been here much longer than that.
I know. Aside from me, there are only 4 novices, but still, I don't know which one he could be.
3? Please, leave me out of it. And you're right that it could be any one of them. No one knows anything about Lucas. Siskin might be a lot of things, but a monk isn't one of them. And Yodok is a slimy worm. It wouldn't surprise me if he was behind that massacre. Actually, the more I think about it, the less I like that Yodok. He's a treacherous rat who'd do anything to get in someone's good books. The thought of Yodok at Neuhof sends chills up my spine.
Maybe you're right. It's not a pretty thought. Thanks for your help, and please don't say a word to anyone.
Don't fret, my friend. Your secrets are locked inside my lips.
А всі вони можуть бути. Блін, як мені двері вбадали? Я просто йшов. Натиснув відкрити. У мене півздоров'я сняло, просто миттєво. Добре, що в мене є талант привид, чи як там, і що в мене воно автоматично відновлюється, тому можна не хвилюватися. В принципі, монах і взагалі не може хвилюватися. Тут чомусь підвисає. Ну, частота кадрів зменшується. Чому? Нічого немає, блін. До речі, там, коли я підійшов. Ясно, залишилось тільки буденні квести, це що за хрінь? Так, ну тут не можна пропускати перші, ті що зірочкою. Всі інші години можна займатися своїми справами. Генерація здоров'я від перку такому секту. Вона не працює під час бою. Вона працює тільки поза боєм і дуже повільно. Подивися на швидкість. Ось вона зараз відновлюється, подивись на швидкість внизу.
Овечку стрижуть, а баран трясеться.
Ну все нормально. Просто сильний тілом і відновлюєш. Подивись, в мене зараз кількість здоров'я, здається, зменшена 63. Тобто це навіть не максимальне здоров'я, яке в мене взагалі є, коли я вдягаю всі свої обладунки і бонуси отримую. У мене там 100, тут 63. А, ні, стоп. Це, напевно, не поточно, це, напевно, ну. А, може це поточне, а не максимальне. Точно, це, напевно, поточне. Напевно, тут 100 завжди здоров'я є. Да, 65. Ну добре, це не важливо, все одно подивимо на швидкість відновлення. Там приблизно одиничка в пару секунд. Це надзвичайно повільно, враховуючи, що я можу поспати пару годин і відразу вилікуєшся. Тому. Ну, це на випадки, коли ти дуже десь далеко не можеш поспати, і ситуація така, що ти не можеш. Я навіть не знаю, навіщо цей перк, він мені дуже особливо десь допомагає. Крім Крім монастирів.
There's the good doggy. That's my boy.
Це прикольно, він буде зі мною допомагати мені? Пішли. Ну, як прикольно поїсти, бачиш шерсть. Ну так. Бачиш швидкість, я вже стільки ходжу, а він навіть стоїть на місці. Було 63, стало 70 за весь час, що так ти запитав. Тому, ну, скажімо так. Ну, скажімо. О, блін, у мене всі гроші забрали, ну клас. Я міг би весь монастир купити з усіма монахами, але гроші мене забрали, котра година. Так, ну тут все закрито. Деякі не серйозні, деякі не дуже. Мені треба, коротше. Кажучи. Мені потрібно. Мечки. Щось можна було дістати. О, у них з вашим розпорядком? А, 25 відлічений бій. То не обов'язково. Тим більше я не знаю, куди йти. Ну тут підтормажує. Чому щось та кадри менше? Тут нічого немає, блін. У нас тут є їжа. Угу. Вирвана з книги сторінка. Візьмемо, це може щось бути цікаве. Не читається.
You've seen us drinking here, so either join in or swear you won't tell a soul. You wouldn't want to end up like Lucas now, would you?
О. М.
All right. I wouldn't mind some wine.
That's more like it. Sit down and have a drink, my lad.
Це монахи. Угу.
Quite right, brother. Just sit down and drink with us. When the wine runs out, Yodak will fetch more.
Циркатор, 2 циркатора, Ян
Salve,
Стібор.
Domine.
Як мені випити? У мене нема вина. Вам класно, хлопці.
What would you like?
А також DLC. Ні, це основний сюжет.
What are you doing here?
What does it look like? Drinking.
But we're all monks.
Youngster, when you're as old as I, you'll understand.
Why not? I've had enough opprobria and obedientia for one day.
That's what we like to hear.
You mentioned Yodok. What does he do for you?
Nothing much. He's just a little suckling like you. He'll do whatever it takes to stay on our good side. Sometimes we make use of him when there are errands to run.
I found this piece of parchment. It looks like it's been ripped out of a book.
The words mean nothing to me. Ask in the library.
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery. What can you tell me about the novices here?
What can I say? You're here to demonstrate your devotion to God and to live a monastic life. After a year, you can make your vows and become a fully fledged brother.
I meant something specific about the brothers that are here.
But you know them yourself. Yodak is an odd one, but he's diligent and eager. Perhaps too eager. Siskin is good company, but a bit too worldly for a monk. Antonius is hardworking and will help with anything, but prays less than he ought. Lucas is as quiet as a mouse, and no one knows much about him. And then we have you, about who I know nothing.
Who would you like to be the new abbot?
I've thought long and hard about it, and I've decided to support John.
Are there ever any disagreements between the brothers?
Unfortunately, yes. The biggest quarrels right now are about the election of the new abbot. They can already see poor Peter in his grave.
Tell me something about electing the abbot.
The old abbot is practically on his deathbed. There are two candidates. Half the monastery wants John, the other half Nevlas, and there's no chance they'll come to an agreement. But you've probably already noticed the atmosphere around here.
Tell me about John.
John is the circator and the oldest brother here. It would be only natural if he took the crozier from Peter. He has experience, merit, and composure. He'd lead the monastery wisely.
I'd like to know about Nevlas.
Nevlas manages the monastery's property. He doesn't have the most experience, but his drive and heart are pure, his faith firm, and his ideas rational. Although perhaps he's too keen to change our routines here, which many brothers don't like.
Why does it matter so much who wins?
Because the future direction of the monastery hangs in the balance. The younger brothers feel they have to work more than their superior brothers, and that some brothers are more concerned with their own comfort than with worshipping God. The older brothers take a different view. They say the younger monks want privileges they haven't earned, and each side has its own candidate.
Не схоже це на монах. Монахів.
I I thought politics weren't part of the monastic way of life.
You're right, but we know nothing besides the monastery, and the abbot's decisions can influence our entire life. Some of the brothers take it very personally.
Tell me something about life here.
Prayer, work, obedience. That just about sums it up.
What are the roles of the various monks here?
Well, the abbot is the head, but he's not here now. Then there's the prior and the sub-prior, the librarian, the porter, and many others. As a novice, you should be particularly mindful of the circators. They're the ones who maintain discipline and punish bad behavior.
Can you leave the monastery?
Well, where would you go? You have everything you need here. Anyway, all the doors here are closed and locked tight, so no one can get in or out.
Неправда, можна зайти, я знаю.
Let's drink.
That's the idea. And what should we drink to?
How about to the abbot?
To the abbot it is. But wait a minute, lad. Which one?
To Peter.
So, to Peter. He's done so much for us. But his time is at hand. To his immortal soul.
What do you desire, Brother Gregor?
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery. I'm interested in the monastery's history.
Well, it was founded by Saint Procopius 500 years ago. After his death, heretics occupied the place for some time. But then the order was restored and the brothers of the true faith returned.
Heretics, you say?
They wanted to worship God with some foreign rituals, in a language foreign to God. They were driven away, and their books burnt.
Can you tell me something about the rule of St. Benedict?
7 centuries ago, St. Benedict of Nursia wrote a collection of monastic rules, which we still follow today. They're read at every meal. The fundamental precepts are obedience, work, and prayer. We're fully devoted to serving God. The outside world, beyond the monastery walls, is foreign to us.
Do you never want to know what's going on out there?
And what should be going on? The sky is just as blue, the grass is just as green. Perhaps the ruler's changed, but the greatest ruler of them all will remain unchanged throughout the ages.
Where'd you get the wine from? I thought the monastery cellars were guarded.
So they are, but this wine isn't from the monastery. Listen, lad, would you help us out with something? This cask is almost empty and we need a new one. We're a bit old for such exertions, but you, on the other hand...
I'll help you. What do I need to do?
Ha! I knew it. Help Novice Yorick arrange for a new cask. Talk to him first thing in the morning, and by tomorrow night, the cask can be on the table.
All right, I'll talk to him. I'll be going, brothers. It's been good to sit with you a while.
Do us a favour, brother. Stay a little longer and have another drink with us. Here, some wine for you.
Oh, all right, but that's the last cup. Let's drink.
That's the idea. And what should we drink to?
How about to the abbot?
To the abbot it is. But wait a minute, lad. Which one?
To Peter!
So, to Peter.
I'll be going, brothers.
Do us a favour.
Thanks, but I won't have any more.
As you wish, brother, as you... What's there left to drink?
А такий монастирик, я не знаю що. Більше замкнута в'язниця. Там п'ють, зовні переносять все, коротше. В'язниця для переписування книг. Він сказав, десь спати можна. А, ось тут, напевно. Де завгодно можу. Так, я піду щось зроблю, попити собі ще. До речі, можна... А, мене забрали навіть збереження. Ого. Ну, складніше, ніж тих, хто користувався модом на збереження. У мене збереження тільки в сон буде. Дійсно, вже спати можна. Ну тут 22 з чимось. Так, пару хвилин тут поставлю воду.
Далеко куцому до зайця. Згадала баба, як дівкою була.
Вирішив вже дочекатися, зробити, бо там залишилось буквально. Щоб 1000 перерв не робити. Так, що там з 3-ї треба щось робити? Пішли до 3-ї години. Добраніч, Ауді. Та дала мама дівка була. Що ми маємо?
Salve, be well. Talk to me, brother.
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery. Are there ever any disagreements between the brothers?
Unfortunately, yes. The biggest quarrels right now are about the election of the new abbot. They can already see poor Peter in his grave.
I understand.
Так, спитаємо в нього, що можна взяти.
I'm looking for something a little, unorthodox.
And what would that be exactly?
I'm looking for lockpicks.
Lockpicks? And what would you like those for?
I'd like to practice opening locks, just for the fun of it.
Well, why not? So you heard I used to be a burglar, did you? I put it all behind me as soon as I took the vows. But I do have a few lockpicks left. I'll trade them for food. Get me a bite to eat, and you can have your lockpicks.
Харчі? Там
Can't
ж
say
безкоштовні.
better than that, can I? What is it, brother?
I'm looking for something a little...
And what
I need to get some what?
You're not the only one. But I have to keep records of all the casks, and the prior checks on them. He'd notice any loss straight away. Just like our food, everything's rationed. So I'm sorry, but I'll have to disappoint you, brother.
Oh, nothing really.
Нам треба робити обов'язково. 4-днікова молитва. Ви б сказали, де це робити. А я думаю, через ці зеркала тут. О, Смолинський вже став мій, чудово. А що робити? Тут по-іншому ніяк. Враховуючи, що я сюди ненадовго прийшов. Це тут моляться? Де тут моляться? Десь тут, напевно. Ну ось зараз тут мають бути. Песко заглючило. Сподіваюсь, він з голоду не помре. Вийти індульгенцію. 800. Що таке індульгенція? Нагадайте на мені, це напевно вхід. Мінцем закладено. Індульгенція це що від чогось звільнення, тільки від чого? А ось. Оцей може стати наступним. Або ось цей. Що там в розкладі? Робота у братстві? Що це таке? Так розумію, пропускати не варто. Затягування квестів. Зараз перевірю, чи можна промотати час. Так, котра година? 5. Просто котре там треба. До речі, ой, треба їсти. Шостій сніданок. Я так розумію, раніше ніж 6 нема сенсу. Добре, перемотаємо. Дякую за рейд. Nice positions. Якраз на нічну встигли. Так, вітаю всіх. Доброї ночі. І це ранішнє. Не хтось спитку мені. О, ти вже до мене йде.
Brother? What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be working somewhere? Idle hands are the devil's workshop.
You're right, brother.
This is your first warning. Don't do it again.
Яка праця? Ти що, дурак чи що? О 6 годині сніданок, о 8 праця, робота в братстві. За... Пуста ранку. Военнослужебний мужик. Дякую, Nice Position, за рейд.
Readings on the abbot. Therefore, when anyone receives the name of abbot, he ought to govern his disciples with a twofold teaching. That is to say, he should show them all that is good and holy, by his deeds even more than by his words, expounding the Lord's commandments in words to the intelligent among his disciples, but demonstrating the divine precepts by his actions for those of harder hearts and ruder minds. The abbot should always remember what he is and what he is called, and should know that to whom more is committed, from him more is required. Let him make no distinction of persons in the monastery. Let him not love one more than another, unless it be one whom he finds better in good works or in obedience. And let him not shut his eyes to the faults of offenders, but, since he has the authority, let him cut out those faults by the roots as soon as they begin to appear. Remembering the fate of Heli, priest of silence, the well-disposed and those of good understanding.
Тут дівчина, та тут теж.
Admonition
Я думав, тут все серйозно. Тут
but bold,
одні п'ють вибори, коротше, блін, підтасовують. Одні за того, інші за іншого, коротше.
stripes and other bodily punishments. Knowing that it is written,
Таємно
the fool is
протаскують
not corrected with words.
незаконні речі.
And again, beat your
Монастир,
son
ну,
with the
коротше.
rod, and you will deliver his soul from death. The rule of Saint Benedict.
Нічого дивно, що сюди тягнеться нитка з
Therefore, when anyone receives the name
підробки
of
з
abbot,
срібних монет.
to govern his disciples with a twofold teaching. That is to say, he should show them all that is good and holy, by his deeds even more than by his words, expounding the Lord's commandments in words to the intelligent among his disciples, but demonstrating the divine precepts by his actions for those of harder hearts and ruder minds. The abbot
що у нас
should
тут?
always remember what he is,
Ой,
and what
блін, мене інвентар не відкритий.
and should know that to whom more is committed, from him more is required. Let him make no distinction of persons in the monastery.
Як мені знати, чи він вже поїв? А, сетіс 97. Все, я поїв.
Or in obedience. And let him not shut his eyes to the faults of offenders, but, since he has the authority, let him cut
Ви
out
отруїлися
those
теж
faults
тим,
by the
що
roots.
класний монастир, тільки прийшов і вже отруївся. Ой, жесть просто. Наперекір всьому спрацювало. А чому? Це тому, що я оточений ворогами? Наперекір всьому це... Тут. Ви матимете на 20% більше сили, спритності, бойового мистецтва. Захист бою, якому ви виступаєте меншості.
You've got a strong constitution. Anyone else would have certainly died.
What?
Сюжетно.
What happened?
Let me tell you a little story. Once upon a time, there was a young boy. He was lost and miserable. He had no future. He was tempted by his friends into doing some foolish things. But he wasn't truly bad. Because when it came down to it, he ran away rather than keep doing foolish deeds. His former friends didn't take kindly to that, though, and wanted to punish him. So they sent a hunting dog to find him and rip his throat. The boy wasn't stupid, though, and he knew that the hound was coming. He poisoned some food, and when the hound showed up, he gave it to him. He didn't expect the beast to live, but it did. And all of a sudden, the boy was sorry for what he tried to do. So he offered to make a bargain with the hound.
I think I understand you. But the beast would need to know what deal he's being offered.
You know, we're both pawns in someone else's game. They have plans for us, but we don't have to let them use us. We can just forget all about it and go our own way. I was a bandit, and I was at Nyhoff.
Стався.
I've robbed and stolen, but I swear to God I've never in my life slain innocent people. What I saw at Nyhoff made me realize my life was worth shit, but I still had a chance to change for the better. Here in the monastery I've had plenty of time to think things over, but then you showed up and fucked it all up.
So the evildoer
Я всіх
changes his
підозрював.
ways and finds God. What exactly are you proposing?
Both of us can leave this place. You can go back to your people, and I can go somewhere where I can live out my life in peace, and no one will try to kill me. If we work together, we can both get what we want.
What if I wanted a different option?
You could kill another novice, I suppose. If news of the murder got out from the monastery, my former friends might believe I'm dead. But I'm offering you a solution that doesn't require any killing. Before we make a run for it, we'll make it look like someone's killed me. Loads of blood, a tattered scrap of my habit, and footprints leading towards the river. No one will bother looking for my body there. There we'll split up. You go for your bounty, and I'll get as far away from here as I can.
Good. Let's do it your way.
Good. I'm glad that despite our initial discord, we could reach an agreement. Here, take something to calm your stomach. Now we'll need the keys to the monastery and some blood to make the tracks.
What do I need the keys to the monastery for?
How else will we get out? This place is practically a prison.
Getting the keys won't be easy.
I know, but Brother Salarius is a reformed thief. I'll bet he still has a few lockpicks lying about. If you know how to use them, they'll be worth finding. Or there's the hard way. Steal the keys from the prior. He carries them with him at all times.
They both sound hard
Там
to
доволі
me.
складні ті замки.
But needs
Я не
must.
зможу відчинити.
And where am I supposed to get my hands on blood in a monastery?
You'll find a parchment in the kitchen with a list of ingredients on it. All the things they're ordering. Add blood for making soup to the list. And when it's delivered the next day, take it before anyone notices it's even come.
What are you going to do?
I need to get ready for a long journey. Prepare supplies, get some normal clothing somehow. That sort of thing. You can escape in that habit, but I need to vanish as fast as I can.
All right, that's everything I need to know. I can get started.
Excellent. Come and see me once you have everything. And try to be as fast as you can. And Gregor, thank you.
Так, що я маю? Один відвар. Ну і прикольно. Стоп, це ж бартер. Я можу йому спихнути що завгодно. Напевно. А, твої координи? Відмічки взяти.
Brother? What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be working?
You're right, brother.
This is your second warning.
Рибал. 7 година. Чекайте, що він хоче? Ж о 8 година. Робота. Упс. Щоб знати, що робити. І куди йти. Так. миші їдять.
I'm Gregor, a novice.
I know. I saw you at the ceremony. My name is Nebulus, and I'm the provost here. I'm in charge of the monastery's property, as well as handling trade with the outside world.
That means you get to leave the monastery?
No, not at all. I just write lists and send them out.
Tell me about yourself.
I'm the provost of this monastery. It's my job to ensure the monks live a humble life and that any surpluses go to the poor. But in reality, I spend all my time making sure my brother's gluttony and the construction of a new church don't swallow up the few resources we have left.
Is there any way I could help you get elected? Somehow tip the scales in your favour?
What would you like to do? Climb up the tower and shout, "Vote for Nebulus, vote for Nebulus"?
Not exactly. You do have an opponent, John.
John isn't my opponent, he's my brother. Just like you and everyone else here. We're all brothers in Christ. But there is something you could help me with. You must know there's a great deal of iniquity here in the monastery. I'd be interested to hear of anything I don't know about.
Should I find out for you what's going on around here?
Let me make this clear. I want to base my candidacy on putting things in order. But if I don't know exactly what's wrong, then my promises are just empty slogans.
Very good then. I'll find out what I can.
Thank you, brother.
Політика, монастирі. Ну, це монастир.
What do you want me to find out?
I'd be interested to hear about any iniquity in the monastery.
Is there anything I could help with?
You know, there is. Perhaps you've heard that Abbot Peter is gravely ill. I'm interested in medicine, and I know there's a cure for the abbot's ailment. With your help, I could find out the details, and together you and I could give old Peter a few more years to do good. What do you say?
You can count on my help. What do you need me to do?
In order to get the recipe for this medicament, a few rules will need to be broken. Now, you know, most of the brothers believe every illness is a message from God, and that it's not our place to deny his will. I, however, think if God sent us not just illnesses, but also the medicine to cure them, then it's our duty to relieve people of their suffering. The cure for Abbot Peter's illness could be contained in one of the books in our library, but it will certainly be amongst the libri prohibiti, the forbidden books, those we aren't permitted to read.
Why are they forbidden?
Because they contain occult and demonic practices, witchcraft and all manner of evil. Or so some people claim. It's nonsense, of course. This is nothing but a book of medicine, albeit one written by a pagan. Ibn Sina, also known as Avicenna, is universally acknowledged to be a wise man. But here, at some point, someone decided his book is the work of a Saracen devil and must be kept under lock and key. Since then, no one can even talk about the book. But the three wise men were from the East, were they not?
Where can I find it?
In the library, there's a large cabinet with a lock on it. The forbidden books are inside. You'll easily recognize what you're looking for. The cover has not only a Latin inscription, but also Saracen letters. Bring it to me, but leave the other books there. No one will notice if one book disappears, but if more were to vanish, someone would certainly begin to look into it, which is exactly what we don't want.
Is there anything you can tell me that would help?
There's a key to the cabinet in the prior's chambers. The librarian should have another one, or you can acquire some lockpicks. But I can't tell you where or how. Perhaps Brother Celerius could help.
I'm ready.
One more important thing. There's always someone in the library during the day. To pass unwatched, you'll need to go at night. It's locked, but I'm sure you'll manage to get in. They say Brother Solarius understands locks, but don't tell him why you need it. Once you have the book, bring it to me, and I'll then use it to make Peter's medicine. We'll soon have the election of the abbot over and done with.
Оце монастир. М. М. Можна те й здати. Що, не крадіжка? Або чи ні? Якщо в мене нічого немає, то ми пішечки забираємо вийшло.
What troubles you?
Пупсики зробили рейд, привіт.
I'm here to work.
Excellent. I've been waiting for you. There's the alchemist's laboratory. You'll find ingredients in the chests next
Я
to
вмію
it.
працювати з алхімією.
Concoct 2 buck's blood potions. Once you finish them, you'll find me somewhere nearby. Don't forget to let me know when you're done so I can check them.
Я не сказав інгредієнти. А, ось. Я можу собі зробити ці. Що там є кропивий банадон.
You mean after the Tamburg attack on the brigands' secret camp? I wouldn't expect...
Зірбі кульбаба живокіст.
There was only a handful of bandits there.
A handful? There was dozens of them. And foreign heathens, too.
Is that right?
There was a great, big battle. Them fuckers filled the whole of Pribyslavitz. The Tamburg garrison had to get reinforcements to beat them. There's wounded lying at Tamburg now, and plenty new graves and
Чутки розповідають зовнішнього світу, а казали, не цікавлять.
These novices, I'd pull those idlers by the ears.
What have they done to you this time, brother?
They're shirking their responsibilities, leaving us, their superiors, to chase around after them, finishing what they don't.
Did you have to finish someone?
Живокіст кульбаба, що? Забувся, капець. Звербі кульбаба живокіст. Звербі кульбаба живокіст. Він сказав 2. Звербі, кульбаба. Можемо, в принципі, все забрати. Живокіст. Ще не будемо поспішати, потім заберу якось. Швиденько треба зварити. Так. Подрібнити звіробій, додати разом з живокостом казанок. На чому це? Ні. Так. Звербій живокіст. Звербій живокіст. І це там один. Потім додати кульбабольний кипятит. Оу. Я тепер 2 роблю. А коли це я почав 2 робити? З якогось рівня вміння в мене
Praise be to our
2 тепер зробляється. Я не знаю коли.
Praise be to Christ, brother.
I've finished my work.
Show me what you've made. Spectacular, Gregor. You've found your talent. Soon enough, you'll be teaching the other novices.
Сумніваюсь. Так, у мене до 12 є час.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris.
Блін, як це звати, що книжки продати можна? Спізнаю. Не хтуйте вашим розпорядком. Що? Я що, повинен ще щось робити?
What is it, brother?
Та ні, немає.
Stop, Gregor. Brother,
Ой, блін.
what are you doing here?
You're right, brother.
Now, this is your third warning.
Very well, brother.
Now, show me what you have on.
Упс. А це я не розрахував. А де мене останнє враження було? Одиночка не страшно, я втрачу все, що в мене там є. Це неприємно. Врахуючи, що монахів нічого немає. То заберуть останнє. Це точно в'язниця, а не монастир. А ну. Угу. Прикольно. Треба, коротше, сконцентруватися на основному квесті. Бо я тут застрягну надовго, якщо буду займатися їхніми всіми проблемами.
Service.
Блін, знав би, то прокачав би на максимум крадіжки. Значить, не активний розпорядку, не можу зрозуміти. Треба буде 4 чекати. Без збережень, де завгодно це буде. Ще те випробування. Коротше, всі побічні відкладаю, тільки основний робити. Бо не маючи збережень і з якоюсь системою, це на день тебе будуть скидати і все забирати, то за будь-який проступок. Стоп, куди вони? А, нам туди. Оці хоча б нейтральні. Товхаєш їх і все одно. До речі, а є симулятор монаха? Вже зробили? Угу. Але я продовжувати зараз не буду все одно. Бо не хочу пізно лягти. зараз завершу. Це не означає, що я ляжу спати зараз, але завершу. Щоб не лягти, щоб тиждень нормально війти. Завтра мене, по ідеї, не буде. Зараз гляну, скільки мене завтра буде вечірніх справ. Можливо, завтра вдасться набагато раніше почати. О, завтра тільки один мітинг. Завтра я маю розпочати десь о 8. Дуже сподіваюся, що розпочну о 8. Ти буде краще бути розмінником, ніж монахом. Та я не говорю, я після цього монашого квесту піду з цього. З радості, те, що мене випустили. Піду. Переб'ю всіх половців, яких там тільки зустріну. В навколишньому цьому. Бо. Ну, бо монах це капець. А ще тут враховуючи, що в мене немає збереження де завгодно, то це. Якщо там буде беладона і корпива, можливо, я зараз, роблячи там алхімію, собі понароблюю цих самих. Понароблюю собі збережень. І хоча б можна буде якось спробувати, не знаю. Коротше, подивимося. Завтра я маю раніше звільнитися і продовжимо ці квести. Побічні доведеться відкинути, бо це буде дуже довго. На добраніч усім, або гарного ночі, хто ще не йде. Зустрінемось завтра.